Combat is a great way to introduce a level of danger as the players fear how will the dice treat them. However, that doesn't mean that the rest of your game needs to be a boring slog. So, here are 3 simple ways that you can make any encounter exciting and engaging in your tabletop role-playing games. Hello everyone, and welcome to Dungeon Bits. And I feel like no matter how experienced you are with TTRPGs, you can still use the tips in this video to great effect. So, make sure that you watch till the end and leave your ideas for others to find and use in the comments below. Now, if we're talking about injecting excitement into the encounters and scenes that we run, it really comes down to this. Introduce an evident chance of failure or danger, bring in the tension where it was lacking, and force your players to deal with the And we can do this quite simply by establishing the stakes. If you want excitement, then your players need to feel like they need to act smart and carefully, otherwise, bad things will happen. It needs tension, suspense, and stakes. Not the meat, and not the Vlad the Impaler, but the risk. So, feel free to openly tell your players the stakes, like, you want to cross the tightrope and sneak over the guards? Well, the difficulty class for this is quite high as a result, which makes the next dice roll actually tense, but make sure to finish it off with what might happen. And if you fail, you will fall from the tightrope and the guards will hear you. By doing this, it accomplishes 2 things. 1, not only does it make the act of rolling feel like a nail-biting experience as you're hoping that they're in your favour, but 2, if you set the stakes, and then a bad result happens, everyone was aware of what was going to happen. But if you just say, roll a dice, and then the dice are mean, then you describe a terrible result of failing, it's not fun, and it can sometimes feel unfair if you describe what was damn near impossible to predict. Which is also why you should give your players the opportunity to back out. Will they take the challenge? Are you a coward? Will you take the risk? Well, if they say yes, then the spiral into chaos begins as you employ the next tip. You want excitement, right? That's why we're here. You want tension. Well, if you set the stakes and build tension, and then the dice are bad and the character falls and hurts himself, then all the tension and excitement is gone. So, feel free to employ a worsening situation. Succeeding and immediately moving on, and failing and being let down by the result destroys tension. So, you can say, if you fail, the situation will get worse. Maybe the player character doesn't fall from the tightrope, but instead, they create a noise when they were trying to be silent. Or maybe, they don't fall, but an item that they would very much like to keep falls instead, and they can get it back, but it will either take up precious time, or it's an even bigger risk to go retrieve it. Are the players trying to stop the ritual? Well, maybe failure causes the ritual to speed up, or trigger a new magical mishap to deal with. Are the players trying to escape the collapsing cave? Well, maybe the failure means that the route is blocked off, and now they need to act fast, or be buried forever. As to how many times you allow your players to essentially fail and try again is up to you, but each time that they do, make sure that the repeated attempts allow them to continue, but make the whole situation harder as a result, ensuring that the tension isn't instantly broken, but increases instead. So, we've covered allowing the players to pick their poison, and allowing them to drink it again to check that it was definitely poison. Also, a bit of a disclaimer, the worsening situation thing is cool in concept, and I suggest that you try it out, but when I've used it in the past, the dice have always forsaken me, because the character fails, then they just try it again and, oh, they succeed, so never mind. Also, just remember, if a player is in a perilous situation, the other 3 players want to play too, and they will do something in their safer positions to save them and murder the tension, either with a spell or their oiled up muscles. Instead, you could play with the mechanics a bit and encourage risk. Introduce the rule that if a player fails a roll, they can retry it once more by doing something more risky. But if they fail the second time, then the result is much worse. And yes, before it's said, this is basically the push roll mechanics from Call of Cthulhu, but it's cool and it would really suit any system, especially action-packed tense scenes. But I guess the caveat with this is the second roll can't benefit from someone else or their abilities. This makes it so that it's the player's choice and that player's downfall. Alternatively, something I've been doing as a mirror to this is before the player rolls, and after you set the stakes, let them know that if they are able to tell you how they're going to do something more exciting, heroic, and risky to make the scene more enthralling, then if they succeed the result, it'll be even better. But if they fail, the result will be much worse. If your system is one where your characters are heroes of action, then allowing them to put themselves in a situation where they don't just breeze through everything, and instead choose a situation that is more exciting and a chance of greater reward, it can be very refreshing. Tell the players the risk. Failure makes the situation more risky rather than just snuffing out the tension, and allow your players to spice up the session by letting them engage in risk. Will they be tempted by great reward? Or will they pay the price? But, what do you think? Do you like to just sit and chill, or do you manage to keep your players excited and engaged? And yes, there are many more ways to do it that I'll cover later, so let me know how you do it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'm Ellis, and if you like these tips, click the video on screen to see how you, as a player, can make the session better alongside the GM. I love you all, and I'll see you patient.